Hi, I'm Daniel Foley, author of 7 Dates with Jesus, Crossing Over into Abundant Life. In this video, I want to talk to you about counting. So last week, we're in the spring season here, and we talked about the Feast of First Fruits, and how the Feast of First Fruits is symbolic of the resurrection, regeneration of our hearts, so to speak, and how the seed of the Spirit of Jesus was sown into our hearts. One interesting thing happens on the Feast of First Fruits is that they are told to start counting after that happens. Count to 50, basically. Count off 50 days, and that will mark Pentecost, which is when the Holy Spirit comes onto the church, and the church really gets going, so to speak. We see in the New Testament, in the book of Acts there. But they're told to start counting between the days of First Fruits and the days of Pentecost. Count 50 days. We also see, if you look back at some of the biblical history, that when the Israelites entered into the Promised Land, that was when they were also told to start counting years, start counting years to the Jubilee. So every 50th year was a Jubilee, just like you had 50 days to Pentecost. You had 50 years until Jubilee. They were supposed to start counting Sabbath years. Every 7th year was supposed to be a complete year off a Sabbath year. So there's supposed to be this period of counting, and this counting that takes place as you kind of enter into the Promised Land, so to speak. So one of the things that's really important in your life is actually counting and taking an accounting of how things are going. So I always give the example. In my fitness business, I could look at a client's numbers. I could look at their measurements, their body weight, their tape measurements, or I could just look at, if I just knew their body weight and how much weight they could lift on certain exercises, if all I knew was those things, I could have a pretty good idea of where they are, how they look like, what they look like, and what kind of progress they're making just by the numbers. The numbers tell a whole story, and it's hard for the numbers to lie, so to speak, but the numbers tell a whole story. So, quick video this week. Looking at some of the key areas of your life. You can look at other areas as well, but health and fitness. Okay, sometimes people shy away from looking at their body weight because they know it's going in the wrong direction, or their measurements, or tracking your fitness progress, whatever it may be. But looking at the numbers in your life and beginning to track those. Finances. Sometimes people just don't want to look at them. Maybe they're not good, so you don't want to look at them, or you've just never gotten into the habit of tracking your finances. Getting diligent in that area can make a big difference. In business, looking at the numbers is an important thing as well. If you're an investor or you're a business person, you know that looking at the numbers tells you a really big story about what's going on in the business. Another one you can do, I think is a huge one that can make a big difference for you, is tracking your time. How much time did you spend on certain activities throughout the day? You could, assign a certain amount of time to work on big projects. You could just track your time. Something that people have done in the past is called a time recorder. Just track your day. What did you spend your time doing all day long? And usually you'll find that maybe you wasted a lot of time and your productivity wasn't that good. And how could you have used your time a little bit more productively? So, the theme of this video, what are some areas of your life where you need to start looking at the numbers, so to speak, because those numbers tell you a whole story. Now, the important part is not to get caught up in the numbers, because if you're doing what you should be doing in all those areas, the numbers just kind of give you confirmation that you're moving in the right direction, helps to give you some traction in your life to make sure you keep moving forward on a weekly, daily, monthly basis, yearly basis as you go forward every year. But what are the numbers in your life that you need to be tracking, and start tracking those numbers?